Imagine you are a Swiss watchmaker in 1969. You work in a small family-run workshop, proud of your mechanical tradition. And suddenly, a Japanese company launches a watch that needs no winding, no maintenance, no adjustment. And the worst part, it is more precise than any of your Swiss watches. That watch was called Seiko Astron and marked the beginning of the end for many. Today I will tell you how Seiko not only revolutionized watchmaking, but changed the rules of the game forever. And the best part is that it did so from the shadows, with a silent obsession for perfection. Stay, because what follows is a story of innovation, pride, and precision. Seiko, the birth of a philosophy, a Japanese brand that set out to master time. In 1881, Kintaro Hattori, a young entrepreneur of only 21 years, opened a watch repair shop in Tokyo. No one imagined that this small shop would be the seed of a revolution. In 1892, he founded Seikosha, which means House of Precision. From the beginning, the idea was clear. Not to depend on the West, to manufacture each component, control every step, and make the best. In 1924, the first watch officially bearing the name Seiko was born. Decades later, while Switzerland proudly led the industry, Japan worked quietly. But Seiko did not want to compete in design. It wanted to win in the most important aspects: precision, accessibility, and reliability. A Japanese philosophy known as Kaizen, constant improvement, permeated the entire company. And that mindset is what makes Seiko still stand out today, more than 140 years later. What makes a Seiko movement unique? The heart that drives millions of watches around the world. A movement is not just a set of parts that make hands turn. It is the heart of the watch, its soul, its precision. And at Seiko, each mechanical or electronic beat is the result of more than a century of obsession with perfection. While many brands in the market, even Swiss ones, rely on movements produced by third parties like ETA or Sellita, Seiko takes a different path. It manufactures absolutely everything from scratch. Every gear, every spiral, every synthetic ruby that minimizes friction is designed and created by Seiko. This model is called vertical manufacturing and is extremely rare in the industry. What does this mean? It means total control over quality, millimetric consistency in processes, and the possibility to innovate without limits. Seiko does not need to ask anyone for permission to experiment. It does it in-house, tests it, launches it. And that is precisely what has allowed it to offer a range of movements as wide as it is precise. From the legendary 7S26, an automatic, robust, and eternal caliber, to the popular 4R36 with manual winding and hacking seconds, including the more advanced ones like the 6R35, 8L35, or the impressive high-beat 9S85 of Grand Seiko. And of course, the incomparable spring drive, which we will talk about later. But the most fascinating thing about all this is the scale. Seiko movements are not just in a handful of premium models. They are on millions of wrists around the world, including many watches from small brands that buy Seiko movements to build their own pieces. If you have ever bought an automatic watch priced between 50 and 300 euros, it is very likely that its movement is Seiko, even if you didn't know it, even if the brand doesn't say it on the dial. That is not a coincidence, it is strategy. A strategy based on the idea that precision should not be a luxury. And that thought has changed the history of modern watchmaking. The movement that shook the world, Seiko Astron, the Quartz Crisis. When Japan triumphed with a buzz, December 25, 1969. While half the world was celebrating Christmas, Seiko launched a silent but devastating device. The Seiko Astron 35 SQ, the first wristwatch with a quartz movement. Accuracy, 5 seconds per month. Autonomy of more than 1 year. The Swiss houses panic. Quartz was not only more precise, it was cheaper, easier to produce, and practically indestructible. The so-called Quartz Crisis between 1970 and 1985 led to the closure of more than 1,000 Swiss watch companies. While Switzerland mourned the end of its hegemony, Seiko was selling millions of watches with its new quartz calibers, 7A28, 7548, 7T32. The Seiko quartz movement was not just an innovation, It was a declaration of war. But here comes the irony. Seiko never abandoned mechanical watchmaking. It only perfected it. If you have ever bought an automatic watch between 50 and 300 euros, it is most likely that its movement is Seiko, even if you didn't know it. Even if the brand doesn't say it on the dial, that's no coincidence. It's strategy.
A strategy based on the idea that precision should not be a luxury, and that thought has changed the history of modern watchmaking. The rescue of mechanics. Seiko Automatic, the movements that never die. While the Swiss look nostalgically to the past, Seiko understood something key. Watchmaking is not just precision, it is passion, it is soul. In the 90s, Seiko's mechanical movements made a strong comeback. The legendary 7S26, used in the Seiko 5, proved that an automatic watch could be affordable, robust, and eternal. Today we have marvels like 4R36, ideal for entry-level watches with hacking seconds and manual winding, 6R35. Up to 70 hours of power reserve, used in presage and higher models. 8L35, used in professional divers, assembled in Shizukuishi. Many of these movements share the same spirit: low maintenance, high reliability, and a very recognizable Japanese industrial aesthetic. And do you know the best part? Sario Ayariote Siriasie. They are so good that they are used by hundreds of microbrands and independent watchmakers. Seiko unintentionally became the secret engine of the watchmaking renaissance. Spring drive, the most advanced movement in the world. When Japanese engineering becomes poetry, there is a moment when engineering stops being just technical and becomes art. That moment has a name. Pripeki Etesengaisite Spring Drive, developed by Seiko over nearly 2 decades. Yes, 20 years of constant research, testing, failures, and improvements. The Spring Drive was launched in 1999, and since then, it has become one of the most impressive achievements in the history of modern watchmaking. But what makes it so special? The Spring Drive is a hybrid movement, an almost impossible fusion between two worlds that until then seemed like enemies. Traditional mechanical watchmaking with its romanticism of gears, springs, and beats, and electronic precision, that Japanese obsession with perfect time. This movement has a mainspring, just like any automatic watch. It stores energy through the turning of the crown or the movement of the arm. But instead of a traditional escapement, that energy is regulated with an electromagnetic system called tri-synchro regulator. This system does not have escape wheels or an anchor. What it has is a sliding rotor controlled by a quartz circuit that slows the movement with a magnetic field, keeping the rotation at a constant speed. The result, a second hand that doesn't tick, doesn't jump, doesn't vibrate, doesn't stop. Tick-tock, it flows. It's one of the most hypnotic experiences in the world of watchmaking, watching a hand glide without interruptions, as if time were liquid. But beyond the visual, the key is in the precision, more or less 1 second a day. No other mechanical movement in the world achieves that. And the most surprising thing, it doesn't use batteries. All the energy comes from the mechanical spring. Only the regulation is electronic. This miracle could only be done in Japan and only by a brand like Seiko, where patience, detail, and harmony between man and machine are part of its DNA. The Spring Drive is reserved for high-level pieces within the Grand Seiko line, where each caliber is hand-assembled by artisan watchmakers in the Shinshu or Shizukuishi studios, 2 sacred places for the brand. Tito. Spring Drive is not just a movement, it is a manifesto. It is proof that innovation is not at odds with tradition, that the best of the past and the most advanced of the present can coexist in the same case. Seiko for everyone, a universe of movements, from the battle watch to the luxury timepiece. One of Seiko's greatest strengths is not in its most luxurious showcases, but in its philosophy, making quality watches for everyone regardless of budget. While other brands have brutally segmented their collections for elite niches, Seiko has done something much more ambitious: democratize access to quality movements without giving up innovation or tradition. Are you looking for your first automatic watch? One that is durable, reliable, that withstands daily use, and doesn't let you down. For less than 200 euros, you can find a Seiko 5 with the caliber 4R36, a movement that offers hacking seconds, manual winding, more than 40 hours of power reserve, and legendary durability. A watch that can accompany you for years, even decades, and has become, for many, the gateway to the world of mechanical watchmaking. But Seiko doesn't stop there. Do you want something more elegant with a classic aesthetic and artisanal details? The Presage collection is a true hidden gem. It offers watches with calibers like the 6R35 with an extended power reserve in well-finished cases, and, most special, dials inspired by traditional Japanese techniques, baked white enamel, urushi lacquer, Arita-style finishes, watches that not only tell time, they tell stories. Do you prefer something more technical for adventures, diving, or extreme endurance? So, you're looking for a Seiko prospects. Within this range, you find everything from the Turtle and Samurai with calibers 4R36 and 6R15 to professional watches with the caliber 8L35 derived from Grand Seiko movements and assembled by hand. Many of these models are ISO certified for professional diving, and some have even been used by real explorers, combat divers, and mountaineers. And if your search goes beyond the physical, if you seek something that touches technological perfection, then Seiko Astron GPS Solar is for you. A watch that synchronizes with satellites, automatically detects your time zone, is powered by light, and offers almost eternal autonomy. A quartz movement so advanced, it seems like science fiction. And yet, it is on your wrist and works every day without you having to do anything. Finally, if what you desire is to reach the peak, the true Japanese watchmaking art, you enter the territory of Grand Seiko. Here, each watch is a work of art assembled by Takahiro watchmakers, specialized artisans who hand-assemble calibers like the High-Beat 36000 or the already legendary Spring Drive. These watches are not bought for functionality, they are bought out of devotion. From the student who saves to buy their first Seiko 5 to the collector who travels to international fairs in search of a limited edition Grand Seiko. Everyone finds something in Seiko, and only a brand that masters the most important part of a watch can do that, the movement, because if you control the heart of the watch, you can build an entire universe around it. Seiko is not just a brand, it is a philosophy. It is precision, but also soul. It is engineering, but also emotion. It is a way of understanding time and respecting it. And it all starts inside, where you don't see it, in the movement. A silent, tireless heart that beats with centuries of history and decades of innovation behind it. A Japanese heart that did not settle for imitation but dared to reinvent watchmaking from its foundations. If you have felt any of that in this video, if any fact surprised you, or simply made you look at your watch with different eyes, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell because this is just the beginning. Let me know in the comments which has been your favorite Seiko movement. Have you had one? What watch do you have on your wrist today? I love reading your comments, sharing stories, and building this community of watch enthusiasts that beat stronger every day. And if you want to keep learning and discovering the soul of watchmaking, I invite you to watch this other video where I compare Seiko movements with those of their great Swiss rivals. Spoiler, you're going to be surprised. See you in the next video. And remember, time doesn't stop, but you can choose how you carry it.